Molly, looking beautiful as ever.
Thank you.
Did y'all notice how fly I looked this morning? I'm just asking. I mean, let's get the important stuff out of the way first. Did you notice?
You know, Stephen A., I would say somebody went shopping, but I have a feeling that wasn't off the rack. I have a feeling that was custom. Am I correct?
Yeah.
You can't hide money, Molly. You cannot hide money. I tell you, it's unbelievable.
You cannot. New level, new devil. That's what we got right there. Gentlemen, speaking of the Devils, shall we talk about Duke dominating late to outlast Texas Tech in a thriller, 78-73, 11 ties, 13 lead changes later, and the Blue Devils are headed to the Elite Eight. Coach K, talk to me.
You all were there. What a game. What a tremendous game. And they're so good and strong. They've grown up so much in the last 12 days. It's such a joy.
Coach, what do you think? Do you like Duke's chances to win the title in Coach K's final run?
I do right now because of the way they're playing. I do right now because Jeremy Roach has emerged as a leader. I do right now because at the end of the game, in the last 5 minutes of games, they are closing out games on both sides of the ball. Offensively, they've been efficient. They're playing through Roach. They're playing through Banchero. And then defensively, their ability to go open the game man-to-man yesterday, go to zone to take away that dribble penetration of Texas Tech, and then they went for the knockout punch going back to the man-to-man. It's almost like you bring in a relief pitcher that throws some junk, but at the end, you bring in that guy that throws that fastball. That fastball was that man-to-man defense. So, to me, they look like they have the identity and the DNA of a team that can win a national championship.
Yeah, I can't. I mean, I know it's a debate show, but I'm in no position to disagree with what you're saying right now, Coach. This is what I've been looking for. This is what I was looking for when they showed up in the regular season Cameron Indoor finale for Coach K when they were going up against UNC. This is what I was expecting when they went up against Virginia Tech in the ACC title game and they wet the bed. This is the team that clearly is playing for a national championship. They're led by the greatest collegiate basketball coach who's ever lived in Coach Mike Krzyzewski, and it's a beautiful thing to see. When you look at Banchero and the way he went in attack mode, he wanted the ball. He wanted the moment. After Texas Tech hit a big-time three, he came back down the court, and he hit one himself. Roach, you're absolutely right. His level of leadership, it's really elevating before our very eyes. As the pressure rises, these guys are amping it up, and they're rising to the challenge. And for them to go to Coach K himself, the 75-year-old, the individual that's about to walk away from the game, who's achieved 5 national championships and all these Final Four appearances, all these NCAA tournaments, his 100th NCAA tournament win. They went to him and convinced the coach, go back to man-to-man, and he listened to them. This is why he is who he is, because he wasn't the guy that's this champion personified, recognized as the greatest coach ever. Do what the hell I said. He knew when to listen to his boys. His boys told him, this is what we need to do, coach. This is what's going to win us the game. And he bet on them. 75 years old, and to have the mindset that I'm going to defer to these kids because they know more than me right now. It's their moment. To relinquish that, it's a big thing. You don't see that happen too often, but it happened last night, and that's what propelled Duke to victory. They got their work cut out for them against Arkansas, make no mistake about it, which we could get into. But in the end, it was fantastic to watch. And this story, it's not finished yet. It's unbelievable with Arizona, with Gonzaga, Kansas is still alive, and everybody else. It's unbelievable after the Duke we saw against Carolina and Virginia Tech that we are sitting here right now talking about Coach K in this position. It's just unreal.
I agree with you, Stephen. And here's a couple things. I think Coach K, agility. The great coaches have agility. They know when to pivot. And Coach K, I think his Olympic experience taught him to listen and hear his players. Because when you're coaching NBA guys, you understand that they're going to come to you. They see certain things that maybe the coach doesn't see because they're in the moment. And then the other thing is, I think his military background. Like the soldiers in the field, they have a better feel for what is going on. And the relationships and the trust that he has with his players to listen and hear. They came to him and said, Coach, we got to go zone. We can't keep Texas Tech out of the lane. He went zone. All of a sudden, they get a couple of stops. But at the end of the game, So they went to that changeup. But at the end of the game, those guys came back and said, we believe in it. We're going to sit down in the stance. We're going to get a stop. This is what Duke basketball is all about. The agility to change, that is leadership. And then offensively, the execution offensively, the last 5 minutes in the last 2 games has absolutely been phenomenal. That's what you call championship identity and championship DNA. To finish it off by getting the right guys to shots where they want them. Having Jeremy Roach take over the game off the bounce, having Paolo Banchero making big shots, and then having Mark Williams play off penetration and then impact the game at the front of the ring.
Future NBA player, Coach.
No doubt about it. They look like a championship
Williams is special.
Team.
Williams is
no doubt
special.
about it.
Athletic and a shot blocker. Patrols the paint, Molly, like a big man is supposed to. That kid is special. J.J. Redick told us that the other day. I watched this kid more last night. Very impressive. Very impressive.
And we're also seeing a very young team. We're witnessing their maturation as well. Guys, that was Coach K's 100th career tournament win. Kudos to him. Absolutely unbelievable. But it wasn't all smiles. Lots of brackets busted yesterday. Coach, what do you think's the more surprising exit? Is it Arizona or Gonzaga?
I think it's Gonzaga, and Gonzaga, because if you look at this Gonzaga team right now, I mean, basically, Arkansas used the same blueprint that Baylor used a year ago. Get up and underneath him, push him out, pressure the basketball, create a little havoc, create turnovers, basically take out Andrew Neverett. I said the other day that Andrew Neverett is not the best player for Gonzaga, but he's the most important player for Gonzaga. Over the last 240 minutes that Gonzaga's played, he's played 236 of those minutes. Their ability to create turnovers, be first to the ball, win the 50-50 balls, and then their inability to defend the basketball. JT Notte was not good. He was terrific. I know the 29 shots, but it was the aggressor. The aggressor goes to the spoils, and Arkansas was the aggressor. Gonzaga was on their heels the whole game, and it looked to me just like that Baylor game a year ago. They got dominated at the guard spot. They got taken out at the guard spot. Arkansas won that basketball game by being the aggressor.
You're absolutely correct. And this is one thing, Coach, and I could be wrong. Let me open up by saying I recognize I could be wrong, and I apologize to Gonzaga for what I'm about to say if I am wrong, because it's not like I get to watch them all the time. You know what I mean? So let me throw that caveat out there. I think the level of competition that you go up against as a conference matters, okay? We know Gonzaga is a big-time program. Mark Few's one of the best coaches in the nation. I'm throwing no shade on them whatsoever. But somehow, some way, on numerous occasions, they've come up short more often than not based on the expectations that their record would bring to the table. We've talked a lot about this kid, Chet Holmgren. I'm going to tell you, I don't blame him. I'm sorry that his father doesn't get to videotape the NCAA games, and I understand that. That was not a good thing. That's probably what jinxed him as well. But here's the thing. You know, when you watch him, Coach, I can't blame him if he goes pro because he'll be a top 3, top 4 pick, and we all know that. But this guy is so frail thin. He's so frail thin that I'd love to see him back in college another year. This kid, listen, the offense goes through Drew Timme. He's the star of this team. Right. Chet Holmgren wasn't the number one option. Timme is, okay? We understand. He had a good game last night. He had 25 points. But in the end, what it comes down to is that when Gonzaga lost, you found yourself saying, I'm not surprised. This is what happens. They have an exceptional regular season, obviously, tournament as well. And then after that, they get to the NCAA tournament with their record. Everybody's got them as a high seed. And then suddenly something goes awry. That's usually, and I understand they went to the national championship game. I get all of that before. But I'm just saying, you found yourself looking at them and you said if a Rough Rider comes up and goes against them, doesn't back down, takes it to them, it'll be a great game. They won't fold or anything like that. But somehow, some way, you just found yourself saying Gonzaga's not going to pull it out. You walked into the tournament believing that, and they lived up to a lot of people's expectations. Not everybody's expectations.
I kind of don't agree with that, though, Stephen. I don't agree with that because they have more NCAA tournament wins in the last 10 years than anyone else in the country.
I understand.
I'm
talking national champion, Coach. You know that.
Yeah,
I'm just talking national championship.
I understand. To be a Blues of blood, obviously, you got to win a national championship, and they haven't done that. But they've won outside of conference. They play that tough non-conference schedule preseason. The question would be maybe during the course of their league season, are they tested to the point like you would be tested in the Big Ten, the SEC, the ACC, the Big 12? Maybe not. Chet Holmgren, like you say, I've been saying this forever. Drew Timme is their best player at Gonzaga.
Yes,
Andrew Neverett is their most important player. And obviously, Chet Holmgren is the player who has the greatest potential. Physically, he's not ready to play. His skill set is at a different level. He can protect the rim because of his length and his quickness and his athleticism. But in terms of the fight, he wasn't ready for the fight that Arkansas gave him. I mean, he